what you want to sell is confidence. What you want to sell is doggedness. What you want to sell is not giving up. What you want to sell is breaking the glass ceiling, and all of that. And what emotions do, what appealing to people's emotions do is that it goes beyond you selling your product or service. It solves their problems for them.
The people that are afraid of AI now, if they were to be alive 500 years from now, they will see sophisticated machines that we are going to develop. Of course, I'm not going to be alive, you're not going to be alive, but the people that are going to be alive then are going to develop some machines that when you look at them 500 years ago, which is there for now, you will wonder about how did people manage to work with ChatGPT? Because ChatGPT will be like a joke to them. Because the machine will be so advanced.
As a creator that you are, you have your uniqueness. You have the you element that you pour into what you create. I mentioned something when I was presenting that when I have some guys that work with me, when I see their jobs, I know, for example, I have a lot of graphic designers. If I see an Adeoluwa's job, I know Adeoluwa did it. If I see a Adekunle's job, I know Adekunle did it. Because there's an element of them. There is something that makes each of their designs unique. For example, the interesting thing is they do not even know this.
Hi, and thank you for checking out Obehi Podcast. We encourage people to own their story and share it with the world to expand their purpose. Before we start this presentation, I have something to quickly share with you. Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur? Do you want to cut across the noise and attract your ideal client by leveraging your own story? Then pay attention. I have a signature program that can help you own your story. A 5-step transformative journey to reshape your professional and business narrative for success in less than 90 days. And it's available at academy.aclasses.org/story. This is what we have understood. Storytelling is the most powerful instrument known to man. And this is what that could mean to you. You can either own your story and use it to advance your purpose in your business and professional life, or someone else will do. The choice is yours. Now let's get started with today's episode of the Obehi Podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Peace Adedo Adeniran. Let me go first with a brief introduction of myself. I am the founder and the creative lead at Luxline Media. Luxline Media, we do everything media solutions, ranging from media relations and PR to content creation, social media management, script writing, voiceover, production and editing, and everything in between. Do all of that at Luxline Media. I am a graduate of mass communication from the Ajayi Crowther University in Nigeria, and I started out as a journalist before venturing into brand and marketing communications. And it is my pleasure to be here today to share knowledge and also learn, as it were. The topic I'll be talking about today is human versus machine. Human versus machine, striking the right balance in AI-driven brand storytelling. In this topic, we're going to analyze the role of artificial intelligence in brand storytelling, and at the same time, we're going to learn how to ensure that making use of artificial intelligence does not remove the authenticity or does not replace you as a human with a brain. with a God-given brain, when it comes to telling brand stories. So let's just delve into it. And I hope that you learn a thing or two from this session. So we're starting off with a brief introduction, and we're talking about the rise of artificial intelligence in brand storytelling. You know that prior to now, let me say decades ago, we did not have what we have now, what we have in 2024, as regards technology. Things are way different now. And of course, technology, artificial intelligence have come around to make life easy for us. And it is especially amazing that it makes you efficient as a professional, as a storyteller. And but just here, like I said earlier, to make sure that we strike that balance between human and machine, and make sure that we collaborate effectively to ensure that both human and machine deliver maximally. Human helps the machine, and the machine helps human to deliver on their jobs maximally. Artificial intelligence has become a powerful marketing and brand communications tool that enables brands to analyze large data sets, to predict consumer behavior and automate content creation. And as the technology advances, we find out that it is reshaping how brands tell their stories. It makes the process faster, and it makes the process more data driven. Gone are the days where we have to probably go to a public library, consult an encyclopedia, read books upon books, for those of us in Nigeria, go to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics to get data on a thing or the other. AI has made it very, very easy for us to get data-driven stories, for us to tell data-driven stories, pardon me. However, this rapid integration, raises a question of authenticity when it comes to telling brand stories. It raises a question of, people not exactly feeling the connection when it comes to telling brand stories, especially for those of us in the brand and marketing sphere. Now, this is it, the importance of balancing artificial intelligence and human creativity. Now, while artificial intelligence offers precision and data, the human creativity part of it brings in the emotions to the story that you're trying to tell. It helps you to connect to your audience on an emotional level, on a deep level, beyond what AI can do. Remember that artificial intelligence is machine. It is different from a human. This is one I wouldn't know, for people that believe in the existence of God here. This is one of the wonders of God, right? You're not a machine. So I look at organizations that want to threaten the employers and say that we have AI tools everywhere. They will replace you. They will take your job and all of that. I just smile and I tell them, well, while there are some jobs that AI can take, there are some jobs that AI cannot replace. AI can only do what it has been programmed by a human being to do, right? But to tell your brand story in a way that connects to the audience, you need a human to do that. So if you're a storyteller here, newsflash, AI is not going to take your job as long as you are able to use your brain, as long as you're able to expand your creativity. So let's move on. In today's discussion, we're going to be exploring the strengths of AI in brand storytelling, and of course, the irreplaceable role of human creativity, and how to strike a balance between the two. We're going to talk about ethical considerations, and lastly, what the future holds for AI-driven brand storytelling. So we're talking about the role of AI in brand storytelling now. The first role of AI when it comes to brand storytelling is to provide data-driven insights. So I, for one, when I write scripts for some organizations, I just finished writing a corporate video script for an oil and gas firm. I want to go and, check statistics. I want to go and check competition. I want to go and, see how the sector is faring. I use AI tools to do that research because just like I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't buy papers and just keep reading and reading to see what the news says about this, or probably go to the Bureau of Statistics to check out, data and everything. AI is very useful in that regard. So accurate data-driven insights is generated by AI for your use. And I'm going to use Netflix as an example because the use of this data will help you as a storyteller to tailor whatever it is you're doing, to tailor it to suit the purpose for which you're doing it. Now, let's use Netflix as an example. You discover that, I discovered, because I'm subscribed to Netflix, I discovered that because I love to watch sci-fi movies, I love to watch crime movies, crime series, movies that have to do with professions like, say, Suits, The Good Doctor, all of those movies. I am not a rom-com person. I'm not, what's it called now? I'm not all this romance kind of movies person. So Netflix has used AI tools, right, to check my preferences based on my view history. And then they keep suggesting movies along that line of preference to me. So once in a while, they, move out of that to see if I can, of course, we know how we do, to see if you can watch something outside of what you're used to watching, that they do that once in a while. But then, of course, through AI, they're able to see that this is what I like to do. And then they keep suggesting movies that go along the line of things that I love to watch. They keep suggesting them to me. So this level of personalization has created a tailored experience for me as a user of Netflix. And for other people that use Netflix as well, I'm very sure, depending on what they watch, these are tailored, a personalized experience for them. So making use of AI in this regard, getting data-driven insights, helps brands to craft messages that speak directly to the needs and desires of their audience based on what they do, based on the activities that are recorded online, by the artificial intelligence tool. Moving on, another role of artificial intelligence in brand storytelling is efficiency and speed. I hope you're with me. Efficiency and speed. Artificial intelligence can automate repetitive tasks by generating content, managing social media, and responding to customer inquiries. This frees up a lot of time for you as a creative person to focus more on the strategy rather than the implementation. So you do the strategy, you leave the implementation to artificial intelligence, and then you oversee the implementation, as it were. A very good example is our customer care lines. Different queries have been programmed into your call. When you call customer care, say MTN, for example, MTN is, I think, the largest, be the most used network in this part of Nigeria. So when you call MTN customer care, you listen to the machine speaking, if you want to do this, press 1. If you want to do that, press 2. Until you get to those queries that the machine can no longer handle. And then you hear something like, to transfer to an online call center agent, press 0. You get. So that means the machine has exhausted all of the things that it has been programmed to handle. Now imagine if the customer care representative has to take all of your calls, has to resolve, account balance issues, has to tell you your data balance, has to, what's another query again? Has to help you check your account balance, has to help you resolve a thing or two. There will be one out. There will be one out. That is just it. So AI is there to make you efficient as a storyteller and to make your job easy for you. As soon as I leave this call now, I already have a number of tasks waiting for me, but I am confident in my artificial intelligence tools. In fact, before I joined this call, there was something I had to enter a query into ChatGPT. I just keep writing. When I'm done, I'll come and search you out. That is just it. Instead of having to sit and think of what to write and think of what to do. So it makes you, you do your things faster, and you're able to be more productive, and you're able to ultimately take up more jobs. For example, you're a social media manager, you're a script writer, you are a voiceover artist, and then you get a social media management gig, and your client is asking you to quickly send in, say, a 3-month content strategy. And at the same time, you have a voiceover to record. At the same time, you have a brand story to craft. You have AI tools to sort out your brand story, to sort out content strategy. I use ChatGPT a lot. Just draft this content strategy, and then when it is done, I adjust one thing or two, and then we're done. So all of the things I'm supposed to do in, say, 3 days, if there were no AI tools, I've sorted everything within 1 hour. That is the beauty of artificial intelligence. It gives you speed. Speed automatically means more money into your account, if you understand, because you deliver on time, you're able to take up another job, you're able to submit other proposals elsewhere. Let's move on. Coca-Cola as a brand has experimented with AI tools to generate creative content and even commercials. The company and not just Coca-Cola now, we can take a look at brands around us. A lot of brands have leveraged the use of artificial intelligence to explore different creative possibilities quickly and efficiently. Artificial intelligence helps you in brainstorming. Artificial intelligence generates different ideas for you. And it even helps you to create visual content. But at the end of the day, just like I mentioned earlier, there has to be a human oversight in the final creative decisions for all of these things, so that the human part of it that brings in the emotions and the cultural sensitivity is added, to whatever it is you're churning out as a storyteller. So let's move on to the unique role of human creativity. This is my favorite part. So the first thing here is emotional connection. Human creativity is vital for crafting stories that evoke emotions, which is something that AI struggles to achieve. Sometimes when I'm going through some sort of creative block and I'm trying to play around AI to see if they can help me tell the story I want to tell, more often than not, I come back frustrated, because AI is not just you. AI is not human. And apart from, this creation is beautiful. Apart from the fact that AI is not human, you realize that a human is different from another human. If both of us are storytellers and you give us a story to tell, the way I will tell my story is different from the way you will tell yours. That is one of the uniqueness of you as a person, of you as a storyteller. Now, that means in these, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to connection, connectivity, emotions, machines are nowhere to be found. Just leave machines. Leave machines to do the strategy and, helping with the foundational, brainstorming sessions, suggestion of ideas, and all of that. So emotional storytelling connects you with your audience on a deeper level, creating memorable experiences. For example, there is this ad by Dove Cosmetics. They tagged it the Real Beauty campaign. This ad tapped into societal issues about self-image and body positivity. This kind of ad is not only about selling your product, it's about also adding value to the lives of people. AI cannot help you achieve that. Cannot help you achieve that at all. The success of a campaign like this helps it helps your audience to tap, the success rather, it lies in the fact that your audience is able to tap into the emotion of your ad. Apart from the fact that you're trying to tell them to buy your product or to patronize you, they can come back and say, oh, that ad really touched me. They can come back and say, I watched your ad and I became confident in myself. They can come back and say, oh, I'm bolder, I love myself more, and all of that. Gone are the days where there used to be a certain standard of beauty in the beauty industry. For example, many years ago, if a soap brand or maybe a body cream brand is going to create an advert, they would use light-skinned women. They would use slim women. Now, let me ask you, where does all of this put black-skinned women, dark-skinned women and chubby women? And remember that it is not only women that use body cream anyways, and so, of course, I understand sex appeal and all of that when it comes to creation of adverts, telling of stories and all. But then we discover that people are evolving now. Brands are evolving. They are connecting more to your soul rather than just connecting to the ephemerals. So they are emphasizing body positivity. That is why you see ladies of different sizes, men of different sizes in ads, men of different colors, ladies of different colors in cosmetic ads now. And then the way they craft the ads, they talk about you loving yourself, you feeling confident. So what they sell to you is confidence. What they sell to you is beauty. AI will not help you achieve that. AI will rather probably just draft a copy, except your query goes in that line for AI anyways. Or apart from the fact that you give AI that query, AI will just help you sell your products. Oh, buy this soap, buy this body cream. It goes for so dollars, it goes for so pounds. And then use all the English words, all the compelling, key phrases and all of that. But the emotional connection can only be brought in by a human. Cultural sensitivity is another key thing that human creativity brings into brand storytelling. Cultural sensitivity. Navigating cultural nuances is another area where human creativity is very essential. So while AI, as powerful as it is, may lack the understanding of context, of history, and cultural significance that humans inherently possess, humans, excel in that regard. There's this story in my early journey as a, brand storyteller. There's this story that I heard in one of the classes I attended. They told the story of, I think it was Coca-Cola. In one of these Arab countries. They took their billboard there, and the the images on the billboard, the story the billboard was supposed to tell, is the fact that someone was tired, then the person drank a bottle of Coke. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be three images of one person. So the first image would be that the person is tired. Then the second image, the one in the middle, would be that the person took a bottle of Coca-Cola. And then the third image would be that the person is energized. And they took that ad. The ad, of course, they used it in other European countries and everything, according to the story. And then they took the ad and used it in one of the countries in the United Arab Emirates. They erected the billboard. And then it was discovered that the sale of Coca-Cola dropped. I mean, it dropped. So people were wondering what the communications team, the PR guys, sales, everybody, the marketing team, they were all wondering what was wrong. Until, someone just clicked and, they realized that in Arabian countries, they read, when it comes to Arabic, you read from right to left. When we're reading English, we read from left to right. So while European countries and every other country saw another thing, the Arabian countries were seeing another thing entirely. They were seeing someone that was energized, and then the person took a bottle of Coke, and then the person became tired. That was what they saw. And they were like, no, what's going on here? Cultural sensitivity in that regard can only be brought in by a human that has adequate understanding of the culture, adequate understanding of how things are done in a particular location, a particular country, in a particular culture, right? AI cannot necessarily give you that. Even if AI keeps advancing and advancing and advancing, that is the same way human beings also keep advancing. And at the end of the day, the two are different. No matter how much of an advancement AI gets, it can't still beat the creativity of human beings. So cultural sensitivity is also another thing that human creativity brings into brand storytelling. Now let's move on to striking the right balance. It is important to note that AI is a tool and not a replacement. Artificial intelligence is a tool and not a replacement. It is a tool to make your work easy. It is not something that should take over your work from you. It is a tool that enhances creativity. AI can assist in generating ideas. It can assist in optimizing content, analyzing audience feedback. But the final creative direction should be guided by human intuition and understanding. Earlier I mentioned the fact that I created a video script for an oil and gas firm. So the oil and gas firm it's a holding actually. And then when I got the brief, I was going to create a script for the holding and 14 subsidiaries. Humanly speaking, creating these distinct scripts, all of these subsidiaries and the holding in general will take a whole lot of time. And the truth is, I do not have that time. As an entrepreneur that works with different brands, I do not have that time. So what did I do? I just went to ChatGPT. I imputed. So I use ChatGPT. I use Meta AI, and sometimes I use Copy AI. So I imputed the name of the brand. I gave it my query. I gave it some key points, the things I want to see because of course I have a way of telling my stories that are unique to me. Anyways, I have my ways rather of telling my stories, ways that are unique to me. I just imputed what I want to see into the query, and ChatGPT Meta AI generated the scripts for me. So what I just did at the end of the day was to adjust. I adjusted, and in a matter of days, I submitted the script. Those guys are even like, oh, that was quick. I'm like, yeah, that was quick. Give me my money. Yeah, so AI, like I was saying, should help you. Uh, um, 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 she should aid you, should complement your creativity, not replace it, to make your job faster. Help you generate ideas, like I said, help you optimize your content. So sometimes when I need to write an SEO friendly content, I already have my key phrase. I just spew it in the query. Help me write an SEO friendly content, blah 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 blah. Keyword being this, and then AI handles the rest, and I'm able to focus on another thing entirely. It also helps you to analyze your audience feedback. But then the final creative direction, I have to emphasize this, should be guided by you as the creative storyteller, be guided by your intuition and your understanding based on the connection you want to build with your target audience and your knowledge of the culture, your knowledge of your sensitivity of the culture of whatever it is that you're doing. This balance ensures that while you leverage AI for efficiency, the essence of human creativity, that's emotional depth and cultural awareness, as well as storytelling artistry, remains intact. All of the brands that you work with, all of the brands that you see, all of the big brands, medium brands, even small brands, all of them leverage AI to churn out their stories because it makes things easier, it makes it faster. Talking about human connection, Colgate Nigeria released an ad recently. I think I saw the ad last week. I had to share on my WhatsApp status, like, this is brilliant. Normally when toothpaste brands want to release ads, they use people with, white teeth. I wouldn't know whether it's post-production editing that makes the teeth whiter than what it actually is. I wouldn't know. They do the old sparkling teeth, um, perfect teeth kind of thing. You see all the teeth of the model, you see everything set, the smile is nice, there are no tatters, there are no blemishes on the teeth and everything. And then Colgate goes ahead to release an ad with children that have lost their teeth. When I saw the ad, I was like, no, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. And I can tell you for a fact, because I have, a lot of people in the marketing, brand, PR sphere that we talk to. That ad is doing well. The ad is doing very well, and it is contributing to the bottom line because the ad portrays the fact that there could be perfection in every imperfection, right? You see a child smiling. There are big billboards of Colgate everywhere in Lagos. You see the child smiling with the two front teeth gone, or maybe somewhere, and all of the children they use in that ad, their teeth are missing. And then they are saying, I think it's do younger with your smile. Yeah, that's the name of the campaign. Do younger with your smile. So you don't have to be perfect to be confident, which is a very beautiful message. Perfection at the end of the day is subjective. It's subjective to, it's a human construct, and it is subjective to what your thought leaders call perfection. It is subject to what the person you respect or the brand you respect calls perfection. So at the end of the day, that ad just makes us see that at the end of the day, perfection is what you see as perfection. I mean, little children who have lost their teeth, the process of moving from milk teeth to permanent teeth, all smiling really brightly. And then the scene is even entirely funny. But then the message is very deep, very, very deep. And, it makes me to just give a thumbs up to whoever came up with that idea, really. A machine cannot do that. A machine cannot come up with an idea like that. Indomie in Nigeria, there was a time this Mama Do Good was trending. Mama Do Good, talks about a woman that is really generous and, comes to, has the woman has children around her, shares the noodles to the children, they really love her and all of that. We see different ads experimenting with emotional connections between spouses, between parents. Airtel tells a lot of story. Airtel, the telecommunications brand in Nigeria, they tell a lot of stories with their adverts, and people connect on a very deep level with those stories. AI cannot give you that kind of strategy. It is only human. So hybrid approach is really necessary when it comes to using artificial intelligence to tell your story. And hybrid in the sense that partly human, partly AI. And AI is there for accurate data, speed, and efficiency, while you're there as human to provide oversight and balance it with the emotional connection, storytelling, artistry, and cultural sensitivity based on the location, the geographical location that you are. I really hope that you are with me. So let's move on to ethical considerations. The first point I have here is authenticity and trust. In an era where artificial intelligence can generate really realistic content, maintaining authenticity is more important than ever. I remember a particular scenario that happened on Twitter. I think it was some months ago, where someone wanted to send, I've forgotten what happened. A particular notable person released a statement. It was a condolence to someone. I can't exactly remember what it was. And then another notable person in Nigeria released a statement to also send some sort of condolence message to the person involved in the tragedy. And the messages were the same thing. And of course, trust Twitter people, trust X people to, point it out. And it became a big issue on Twitter. People started laughing, and then they were like, hey, AI to ChatGPT don't suffer for a handle and everything. I mean, a machine is a machine. What it generates for, except you are on premium, what it generates for me here, there is every tendency that to generate the same thing for you. But then, as humans, what you're thinking, the story you tell now, the story that you tell here, I already established that as humans, we are different. The way I tell my story will be different from yours. Even if it is the same idea, the storytelling will be different. The storytelling will be different. So if you really want to be authentic and you want to gain the trust of your audience, you have to ensure that you control the machine, not the machine churning out. I mean, as a final churn out now, not the machine, not the machine doing the ultimate, as it were. You have to ensure that you control what the machine churns out. You add your own input as human. Deepfake technology, for example, raises ethical concerns about the authenticity of visual and audio content. I saw an ad. Someone used one of these video generating AI tools for an ad, and in the video, someone was by the beach, and then the person turned to look back, and then the person was going to look to the front again, and I realized, in fact, while I was watching the video, the person that shared the video with me didn't even realize it. But I realized that the person turned of course, the object of the AI generated model turned the face like this, trying to look back. And then by the time it wanted to look forward, it wanted to look back to the front, it turned, instead of turning back like this, just like a normal human would do, it just rotated. And I'm like, wait, though, are you an old? You understand? So AI is not perfect. And the people that used AI to generate that ad, they probably did not take note of that. So when I saw that, I was like, no, I don't know, but this is not authentic at all. It is not authentic. So you have to be careful when it comes to using artificial intelligence to generate anything. You have to pay great attention. And if it is possible, rather than just using artificial intelligence, especially for video production, uh, you should just look for models and pay them. Really, let people eat, let people make money from you too. Um, okay, so brands must navigate these technologies carefully, ensuring that the use of AI or their use of AI does not undermine the trust that they have built with their audience. The authenticity in storytelling is not just about the content itself, but it is about being honest and transparent with audiences about how the content is created. Did you know that behind the scene videos trend more than the actual video that you created, to probably sell a product or sell a service or anything? Because people want to see the process. We all know that we are not perfect as humans. There are some food bloggers on Instagram that I love to watch. These guys come out, they cook the food, they are really, it's really nice, it looks good and all of that. And then when they share the behind the scene, I'm like, okay, we are all in the same boat. Because sometimes they add a little too much seasoning too. Sometimes they have a bad kitchen day. Sometimes this brings the human aspect of what you do to your craft. And people are like, okay, nobody's perfect after all. I think I can relate. There is nothing as dope as people relating with what you do, right? Rather than just projecting that image of perfection. So authenticity is where you should now draw the line when it comes to ethical considerations in the use of AI. If you have used AI and you've created the perfect thing, and everybody knows that, humanly speaking, this thing is not possible. It's better you adjust the story you're telling, or you reduce the impact of artificial intelligence in the story that you're telling, so that we, the potential buyers of your product and patronizers of your service, be able to relate with the story that you're trying to tell. Are you with me? Now let's move on to transparency. Transparency is key when you use AI in brand storytelling. Brands should be upfront about the role of artificial intelligence in creating content, because this helps to build trust and set realistic expectations. For instance, a brand that uses AI to, generate customer service responses should clearly communicate that this is machine, right? So that people won't think, machine has a way of, for example, when I'm chatting, when I'm in some, DMs, and then I'm chatting, and I always know, and I believe that you always know as well, that this is a machine response, not human, right? Because more often than not, your query is unique. And then you see that the answers they are giving to you, or the answers you're getting, is generic. And you're like, guy, you're not answering my question. That's not what I asked you. So you should be upfront as a brand that, okay, these responses are machine generated. But then, just like telecommunications customer care, to get to a point where, okay, we can't handle, the machine can no longer handle your query. You have to speak with an actual human that will take your query and, get it sorted. So you have to be transparent. So when people enter your DMs, when you're trying to set up the back end for the company you're working for and all of that, it shouldn't be entirely machine, because machines do not have human emotions. For example, someone comes into your DMs to rant, or someone sends a mail to rant and everything. The way a machine will respond is totally different from the way a human would respond. A human, it's natural for a human being to empathize with you, not necessarily admitting to wrongdoing, right? But empathize with you and, just uh, make sure that they acknowledge, or they don't invalidate how you feel, right? the fact that you're angry or you're hurt, you're frustrated, and all of that, before eventually solving your problem. You're coming with all of that anger. Oh, you guys, you did this, you did that, and then you just see a response like, no, I'm not, nothing is coming to my head right now. And you're like, what are these people saying, for heaven's sake? So transparency is key, right? So when humans, when people are chatting with a machine, when they're talking to a machine, let them know that this is a machine. And then we're talking to humans, you know that you've already transferred to human. So moving ahead, let's talk about the future outlook of AI in storytelling. My time is fast spent. Future outlook of AI in storytelling. So we're talking about collaborative creativity now. Collaborative creativity. We've gotten there, but then it can be better. It can be better in such a way that humans and machines will collaborate effectively. Personally, I have not exactly seen an AI tool that would create videos that I like. I tried that with one of the brands that I worked with. I wanted to create a video advert. It didn't even involve humans, right? It didn't involve humans at all. It was supposed to be just infographics and all of that. But it wasn't perfect. It wasn't even near what I wanted at all. I just had to take myself to Canva, or take myself to, what's it called now? Corel Draw, Adobe Illustrator, and just sort myself out, really, or CapCut, because that wasn't really cutting it for me. So I want to believe that it would get better by the day. So the future of AI is an efficient collaboration between human and machine, a situation where artificial intelligence serves as a partner in your creative process. It is doing that already, don't get me wrong, but then it can be better. Your job can be easier. It can get to a point where what you just do is the strategy and the final oversight, as it were, not necessarily imputing queries upon queries upon queries upon queries just to get the AI to do what you want exactly. As AI continues to evolve, it will become even more capable of assisting in the generation of ideas, content, and insights. However, the human element will remain essential in guiding these processes, ensuring that the stories brands tell are not just efficient, but also meaningful, authentic, and emotionally engaging. I mentioned earlier that brands have evolved when it comes to that. And I'm looking forward to a time where a brand will release an ad, and it is not just about selling their products, but these ads will also address societal issues. This ad will also generate conversations with people. This ads will also be some sort of solution, breaking the norm or questioning the norm, as it were. I remember there was a time seasoning cubes brands were called out, that cooking, as it were, is not gender specific, right? And a woman doesn't, it's not only women that should slave away in the kitchen. And then there was even this particular ad that I saw. I think it's a very old ad. And the husband gets home. The woman rushes to welcome him, and then he just did like this. And he goes to sleep. The woman keeps wondering what she did wrong, and then she realized, okay, maybe he's hungry. Goes into the kitchen, prepare the food. The guy took his key, was about to walk out, and then the aroma of the food just hit him from the kitchen. And then he turns back, and he sees. And then his countenance changes all of a sudden, and then he's happy. And act like that starts a conversation like, wait, if you are hungry, does that mean you should be angry and transfer the aggression to your wife? Are you high? Are you normal? I remember having this discussion with some of my friends. We're just laughing. But then let me not digress. The most important thing is that these seasoning cubes brands have evolved into making their influence, making their ads cut across different genders. You see ads that have the father cooking for the family. You see seasoning cubes brands that have influencers that are male, right? You see them, you see male chefs influencing for seasoning cubes brands and everything, which was not what we used to have before. But then, conversations have happened, and all of this. We see ads that address the rape culture. We see ads that address gender equality. We see ads that address equity and all of that. That is the angle that humans bring into your ad, which machines cannot achieve. Okay, imagine trends in AI-driven brand. AI-driven brand storytelling includes a more sophisticated AI tools that can generate not just content, but also adapt to real-time audience feedback. For example, AI could be used to create dynamic, personalized content experiences that evolve as the user interacts with the brand. However, even as this technology develops, the need for human oversight, I keep emphasizing this. The need for human oversight, not just leave everything to machine. The need for human oversight and creativity remains critical to ensuring that these stories resonate on a human level, because at the end of the day, it is humans that will patronize you, not machines. Brands that stay ahead of these trends will be those that continually find new ways to blend artificial intelligence capabilities with human creativity. And in conclusion, humans and machine should collaborate to deliver at the highest capacity. Humans cannot do it alone because it will take a lot of time. Machines cannot do it alone because machines are not human, they are not emotional, and they are not sensitive to cultural nuances. And they can't tell stories like humans will tell stories. So humans, as a storyteller, you as a human should leverage on the speed and the efficient data of machines to aid your work and deliver optimally, so that at the end of the day, you and your client will smile home happy and fulfilled. Thank you very much. So before I go, I'd like to share some AI tools that are available to you as a storyteller. So the first one will be ChatGPT. Don't let me assume that everybody knows ChatGPT anyways, but ChatGPT is a very popular, creation of OpenAI. It helps with your copies, with generating written content, coming up with ideas, content ideas, social media strategy, social media calendar, and whatever it is you want to do. And also Jasper AI. Jasper used to be known as Jarvis, right? Content creation for blog posts, that is what Jasper does, Jasper AI. It does content creation for your blog posts, for your social media content, for your product description, for your newsletters. It even provides you templates for all of these things. Another tool is Lumen 5. Lumen 5 is a video creation tool that transforms your texts into videos. It is also fantastic for repurposing, right? So probably you have a blog post that you want to repurpose into, say, infographics or into, say, videos, because videos is basically what Lumen 5 does. You just pick the text, you take it to Lumen 5, and it will convert it into video for you. It has saved you time. That is just it. Although, like I said, these tools are not exactly perfect yet, especially if you as a storyteller is already operating on a level where your clients already know your uniqueness as a person. It's easy as a storyteller or as a creative for your clients, people to know I have creatives that work with me. And when I see their designs, when I see what they have done, I know who has done what, because their creation is unique to them. So when AI creates your videos for you, you should also try and impute that uniqueness of yours into it to make it whole, to make it perfect, so that your clients won't keep asking you, are you sure you did this thing? So the third one is Phrasee. Phrasee optimizes marketing languages for emails, for social media content, and push notification. It makes use of course, key phrases of the target audience that you're targeting, and it helps you as a brand to create copies that interest your target audience. Then we also have Pesado. Pesado focuses on generating persuasive marketing language. We have HubSpot. A lot of people are familiar with HubSpot content strategy tool. It helps you to discover topics that your audience care about, so that you also leverage on writing or creating content around this topic that puts you in what's it called now? It makes search engine favor you, as it were. Then there is also Copy AI. There is Headline. Headline helps you generate headlines. It helps you generate catchy headlines, attention-grabbing headlines. It also generates landing pages and copies that would convert. There is also Canva. Almost every creator is familiar with Canva. Funny enough, I have friends that are graphic designers, and then they literally talk down on us that use Canva. They be like, you people don't know. You people always use templates, you know. But at the end of the day, a design is a design. When your design is fine, when your design is beautiful, and then it passes the message, nobody has to know whether it is Canva or, in fact, there is even people design from scratch on Canva. But more often than not, some people just want to use existing templates and all of that. There is Grammarly. Grammarly is there for your grammar checks. It also offers suggestions for clarity, for engagement, for tone, based on the tone you want to use to address your audience. It makes sure that Grammarly is strictly for writers. Make sure that your content is not ambiguous. It helps you structure and organize it. There is Adverity. Adverity is an AI-powered marketing analytics platform, and it helps brands to optimize their campaign by providing insights into performance across multiple channels. There is Quillbot. This is also for writers. Quillbot helps you structure and rephrase your write-ups. There is WordTune, also helps you structure and enhance your write-up. And please note that these tools that I just mentioned, they have the free version and then they have the premium version. So to utilize these tools very well, you have to subscribe to the premium version, really. If you want to optimize them very well, if you want them to be really useful for you, subscribe to the premium version. I hope you enjoyed this discussion so far. I will hand the mic to Mr. Obehi now for any question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is really a very interesting conversation. I thank you so much for this sharing. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. There is something that I really like to say about the AI, or the whole question of AI. That, of course, some people don't understand that it's a tool. It's a tool that you need to use. Of course, I'm going to be asking you a few questions just now relating to AI. Because if people don't understand that it is a tool, then they will use it. And most people, or some people, think that, oh, this is a devil that I've come, so let's run away from it. Only that you are just cheating yourself, because if you don't use AI, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Because when I say AI is a tool, I want you to look at it like a pen. Okay, let's look at it in a very simple, like a pen. You see, you can still write with the feather, no? Because writing started by people just using a feather and dipping it on ink and using it to draw, no? You can still do that if you want. Only that you're probably going to spend, I don't know, how many years it will take you to write a book than maybe using a pen, which is going to be faster for you. If you want to advance that a little bit, you see that you can still do the same thing using the computer, where you just begin to type out the number and you will be very fast, compared to maybe when you'll be writing it with a pen, writing A, B, then you see how fast it will take you to be able to do that. So you see, The Egyptians, before they could build the pyramid, they needed tools because without tools, they cannot build the pyramids, no? Only that now, 2024, we are living in different time with different set of tools. So we need to see AI like this, that it is a tool. Now, how you will also be
Yeah.
able to understand it is that, now I want you to fast forward the time. Look at the world that is going to be in about 500 years from now, in about
From now.
1,000 years from now. Because the people that are afraid of AI now, if they were to be alive 500 years from now, they will see sophisticated machine that we are going to develop. Of course, I'm not going to be alive, you're not going to be alive, but the people that are going to be alive then are going to develop some machines that when you look at them 500 years ago, which is therefore now, you will wonder about how did people manage to work with ChatGTP? Because ChatGTP will be like a joke to them because the machine will be so
Yes.
advanced, which is to say that why don't take advantage of the tools that we have today? It can be useful for you. You see, there is an argument that we're not going to be able to get into today in our conversation. That to do with us as a people, Africans and African diaspora also. We have a lot of lacuna in that we have few materials, knowledge material that we have. They are very few compared to other people. So
Yeah.
because we have AI, why don't we use it to create more material, educated material that we can use, books, audio, video. We don't have enough. Honestly speaking, we don't have enough data. Most of our data
Mm.
are in analog. So we need to transfer them into digital. A good example, look at the library of Timbuktu. It would be useful if somebody were to take the time to digitize all those books, hundreds of thousands of them. You see, because sometimes it is not, maybe I don't want to say it is not in our culture to document, but we need to change that. Use the tools of the age to change everything.
Yes. The thing is, I see that, in Africa, for example, the earliest way of transferring knowledge is via the oral transference. People tell stories, they didn't document, as it were. It was just told from generation to generation, it was passed down. And one of the dangers of that is that some things or important messages got lost in transit. It's painful, particularly for me as someone who loves history. There was a time I was looking for a story that had to do with one of our dates in Yoruba, um, one of our um, one of our warriors that eventually became a deity. And I went online. I didn't exactly see anything. The only material I saw that told the story near accurately, different from what I heard from my grandfather, was a Brazilian material. And I'm like, what is this? Can't we? I'm glad that filmmakers are, coming up, especially with creating movies that tell the story. A movie was released recently in Nigeria, House of God, and it generated a lot of conversation because I know the story of Bashorunga. I have read it, I have heard it, historians and everything. So the movie did not even accurately tell the story. But then, of course, the producer said that, of course, that they needed to add some things to make the story more interesting. It wasn't a documentary, it's just a story and all of that. I'm like, so a child born in, say, year 2000, for example, will just take your movie and run with it as the exact story. So that's one of the dangers of not having, documentation, especially from people that these things happen in their lifetime. So as the story is being passed down, that is why it is important for us in this generation. All of the things happening here, we should document. I love this era of social media a lot. Facebook, for someone like me, is not just a social media platform. It is more like my photo and video catalog. So there are some things I just record and I upload to Facebook. I put them in archive. The ones I want people to see, I let them see. That is my own, version of documenting stuff. So that when I grow very old and my grandchildren, my great grandchildren are doubting that I did something, I'll just show them. Yes, I did. That's just so documentation is key.
Thank you so much for that. Of course, like I said, We will not travel that rabbit hole today because if we go there, it will be a long conversation. And it's a very interesting one. You see, in A-Classes Media, there is a project we call Life and Legacy. It's actually a fundamental part of everything that we are doing. What we are doing with our Life and Legacy project is that we are revisiting our history. We are talking about people that have shaped our reality. You were talking about a deity in your place in Yoruba land who you couldn't find evidence of. Now, in A-Classes Media, there is a series of articles that I've written about. Five of them. I'm going to write 7 of them. Only 5 are ready yet. It's about a man in Uromi, because I'm coming from Uromi, south of Nigeria. Uromi is in Edo State. The man is called Agbanoje. Agbanoje is the second king of Uromi in the 1300. He is also known as a god of war. So many people, even in Uromi, they don't know that this is actually a human being. They thought it was just a deity because actually the man is worshipped as God. Only that the people don't know that he was actually a human being who was the second king of Uromi. At the time, there was a war between the Oba of Benin and, of course, between the Oba of Benin, between the Benin people and the Esan people. That was when this man died. And because he was very influential to the Uromi army, to the Uromi people, he was deified. Therefore, he became God. Many people do not know about this story. I didn't know about this story. It's not that there are no educated people in Uromi who can document this story, who can argumentate, who can debate about it so that we can create documentation about him. But in our houses, we have copies of Bible. We have copies of King James, the story of King James in England. But King James didn't die for me. This is the man that died. You know what the man died for? He said that the people of Esan need to be respected, need to be treated better than the way that the Benin people were treating them. That was what led to the war. And that was what he died for. But why should I know about Jesus? I don't know about the people who died for me. Anyway, I want to repeat again. We're not going to go down a rabbit hole.
That's another topic entirely.
It's another conversation entirely. But I just want to thank you so much for your sharing. And I also want to remind our people that we can use AI to revisit our story. They are important. They are tools. We need to use them. But now, the first question I have for you is this. You come from the background of journalism, and now you are into content creation. Is there any way that is helping you? Share with me.
Okay, so as I create content, I don't sensationalize it too much. There is this thing that content creators do these days that is just very annoying. They put up a really talk about the likes of okay, I don't want to mention names now, right? They put up a headline that would draw your attention. So as a journalist, I know the kind of headline, I know what to craft, I know how to craft an objective headline that will still draw your attention rather than telling a lie. Basically, let me just put it that way. Rather than telling a lie, and then I'm just reading the content and I see that the headline is totally different from the actual body of what actually happened. The content now. So as a journalist, I'm able to use my experiences, use my skill to craft my original headline in such a way that it still gets attention anyways. That is the difference between someone who has a background in journalism and someone who just jumped into content creation, as it were. There's this joke with passion because a lot of us who did journalism in school are now into marketing, communications, PR, and all of that. So there's this joke with, just passion. It's an inside joke anyways. Whenever we see a content and we see how poorly it is done, we just say, oh, this person studied Yoruba engineering in school. So they just come into content creation by accident, right? So yes, that is what stands you out. And your clients are able to trust you. And because, content creation is, of course, these fields are interwoven. PR is different because in PR, you have media relations, you have all of these other things. public relations, media relations, crisis communication, and all of that. So while I'm going to my client to submit my proposal to be their content creation agency, I'm submitting the whole proposal in case your brand gets into trouble. Because of my background as a journalist, I am experienced in public relations. I know the press release. I know what to write in a press release that would douse the tension. I know what to do. I know how to use the media to set an agenda, right? But of course, because I'm a child of God, there's some agenda that we not set.
So you have the skill, so you can go ahead and do that. But in business, you can play all sort of game. I love that. I love that you are using your journalistic skill in your work. But of course, skills are very important now. Now, there is a signature program that I'm currently working on. It's not yet ready yet. So it's actually targeting people that have purpose, a strong purpose behind their business. And so these are entrepreneurs that are not just driven by the money, they are driven by a deeper purpose. So in that case, we are sort of researching about you. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What did you come to the market with? Therefore, we are looking at your skill. So your skill is important, whether you are coming from journalism, coming from engineering, or coming from any other field, but you are not an entrepreneur. So that skill that you came with is going to be important for you because you are going to deploy that for you to be able to serve your client, you see? So that is really very important, at least from the way I'm seeing it. All right. Now, having said that, you said something important during your presentation, that while you are using AI or artificial intelligence, you should not let that remove your human authenticity. Could you expand more on that? That is highly valuable.
Yes, thank you very much. God is a really wonderful God. He has created us. The Bible says, I'm a Christian, right? So pardon me if I'm also talking to non-Christian here. The Bible says that He created us in His image and His likeness. So what is the likeness of God? He's a creator. So He has given us the ability to create as well. And it is more interesting because I have the ability to create. You have the ability to create. We create different things. We might create something based on the same concept, but how we are going to go about it will be different. A machine is still programmed by a human being. A machine does not have a brain of its own. We have data trainers, we have AI trainers. I remember there was a time I was trying to look for an opportunity to get into a job like that where I could also train AI. So AI is also trained based on human knowledge, and it is trained based on the knowledge of the person that trained it, which is different from your own knowledge, different from my own knowledge, as it were. So as a creator that you are, you have your uniqueness, you have the you element that you pour into what you create. You know, I mentioned something when I was presenting that when I have some guys that work with me, when I see their jobs, I know, for example, I have a lot of graphic designers. If I see an Adeoluwa's job, I know Adeoluwa did this. If I see a Adekunle's job, I know Adekunle did this. Because there's an element of depth. There is something that makes each of their designs unique. For example, the interesting thing is they do not even know this. But maybe because I've trained myself over the years to, I've trained my eyes to see things like that. So what I'm trying to say is there's an element of you in whatever it is that you create. And that is what has made that brand patronize you in the first place. Because you weren't the first person that submitted the pitch to them. It wasn't just your work that is sampled and everything. There is a you element. So while you're using AI as a tool, you still have to pour that you element into it. So let me use myself as an example. When I'm writing, when I'm working on a write-up, especially things that have to do with social conversations, maybe religion, history, and everything. Because I am an unapologetic Yoruba person, I love to do proverbs. I love to do wise sayings. That is me, right? But I remember my former boss, he asked me to help him draft something. And because it is not my write-up per se, he was going to post it on his own LinkedIn page. So I just wrote it like that. And then the question he asked me was, Dolako, did you write this thing? I said, yes, I did. He said, no, that you thing is not there. I was even asking him what he meant. He said, no, he wanted to see proverbs, he wanted to see, what's written in Yoruba and then translated to English for non-Yoruba speaking people and all of that. That is my style, right? And I said, that's my style. Hope you won't mind because your posting is on your LinkedIn page. He said, no, he likes it. And there is a particular message he wanted to pass, and he needed that kind of style to pass across. That's why he asked me to help him write it. So there is a you element in everything that you churn out as a creator, which a machine cannot achieve for you. So while the machine helps you with the basics, you now come out and pour that you element into it to still make people know that, yeah, that's your creation at the end of
That's lovely. I love that. I think a lot of people should actually be moving towards that, which is that thing that actually make you individual, so that even though you are in a group, you are still an individual. The society is requiring us to show up the way we are, because otherwise, there is going to be a lot of people. People are going to be bored. I remember, for example, in the beginning of my project, which is a research project about the presence of Africans in northern Italy, that is in 2013. That is when I started. Of course, that is what led to the storytelling series that I'm doing today, and also the A-Classes Media and my 5-part book series. So I wrote a book there that I titled The Color of Our Children. Of course, it had to do with the children of immigrants in Italian schools. So I had to talk about multiculturality. Then I was saying, if you want to see what is the value of multiculturality or multiculturalism, take off a piece of art. So what you are going to see are different elements. Only that you yet do not understand that is actually a contradiction. In that you are having a blue color that is on white background with a sort of a green, a red, and yellow, all of them put together. That is how you are able to appreciate the beauty. I said, okay, if you don't like that, then take up a blue pen, write on the blue paper, design it, do everything you have to do with the blue color. I said, what you are going to see is that nobody's going to appreciate it. That is actually going to be very boring, because what you have just created is called uniform. You are afraid of contradiction. Therefore, you're going to create uniformity, monotonous. There is no beauty in monotonous. So yes, you don't need to be another person. You need to be you, who you are. So I was researching a couple of weeks ago, actually it should be months ago now, because I'm dealing a lot with storytelling, human being and human behavior. I said, okay, let's even try to find out how many are we on Earth today. I know that a little about more than 8 billion, but how many have we been all this while? The research showed up that we have been about 170 billion people since we showed up on Earth. There are how many people that have walked the surface of Earth? I say, okay, if that is true, it means now that each of us has actually been unique, because there is no two human beings that have ever existed. Each of us have been unique. Therefore, who are you? You need to show up the way you are. You see, from the little drop of sperm that make up the human being, there are millions of people that could have existed, but they never exist, and they will never exist. You are here. There is a purpose for you. You see, there is a reason why in Obehi Podcast and also the A-Classes Media, we are really stressing the need of the purpose. You don't just need to do things the way, just do it because other people are doing it. No. You are showing up here for a reason. What is your reason? I was interviewing a professor of transpersonal psychology coming from Yoruba background. He is in UK. He taught me something very important that I'm never going to forget. That because we're talking about Ifa theology, and he was telling me that in Ifa theology, when a child is born, when this child is 8 years old, the elder in the Ifa tradition, we gather to find out the mission of this child, which is, why are you here?
Yes, they call it a postage.
You see, I said people don't understand the importance of that. Now, this elder, they are trying to find out your mission. That is to say, you are not just here for nothing. There is a reason why you are here. The next thing that I want to ask you is, how do you really strike a balance? Because now you are using AI, you are creating content, and you are promoting the idea that we shouldn't just use AI without putting our human face there. Actually, the title is creating a balance in the story that you are telling using AI. Show us some strategy
Yes.
on how people can approach that.
It's really simple. So what I do, I'll use myself as an example.
Please.
So what I do in having AI craft for example, if I want to write a script, sometimes I say, okay, just write this script for me, your ChatGPT or Meta, just write the script for me. And sometimes I come with an outline, or most of the time I come with an outline. Okay, so ChatGPT, write a script for me based on so and so topic. This is my outline because I'm not leaving the entire, creation to ChatGPT based on how, um, based on the what's it called now, based on how the job is, for lack of the right word now, based on how the job is, you know, I want to guide AI. So that is me striking the balance. So you're writing a script for me, and this number starts with an introduction, go ahead to this, go ahead to this. And sometimes I want to start with a story, not just an introduction. A lot of times I want to open my script, my write-up with a story. And then I write of course, ChatGPT will not come and write a story for me. If I have a concept I want to talk about in my head or something I'm writing for my client, say, talking about house hunting in Nigeria, ChatGPT is a machine. It is not a Nigerian. Now me, they live in Nigeria. Now me sabi waiting our eyes they see
I
as then as
love
we
that.
find out. So I will write the story and then I upload it to ChatGPT. Using the story as a start, draft me and this and that. And of course, ChatGPT is also very intelligent. It takes in the story, analyzes it, and draws points from that story to make its points in subsequent, some subtopics under it too. ChatGPT, I mean, AI is actually very intelligent. I'm not going to lie, very intelligent, but not as intelligent as humans. So that is how I strike my balance. So if I also want to create like a content strategy, before I load anything up to AI, sometimes whenever I'm experiencing creative blocks, I just say maybe AI create everything for me and no. And then I take what AI creates for me and I begin to rewrite. I begin to do it based on the conversation I've had with my client, based on their goals for social media, based on what they want to achieve and all of that. Which if by experience, I mean, from experience, some of these things I load them to AI based on this goal, based on this, and it's not even giving me what I want. Because I was the one that had the conversation with the client, not AI. So AI just gives the basics, and then I come in to restructure it to suit the goals of my clients, the person that is paying me at the end of the month. So I restructure it to suit their objectives and what they want to achieve. And another beautiful thing, especially when it comes to content strategy, when I send my calendar to my client, calendar is flexible, right? AI will not give you flexibility. This calendar is flexible in the sense that anything can come up at any time that we can ride on as a trend. So we are not following this content calendar to the letter. Some things will come up. For example, the Olympics that was just concluded, a lot of brands rode on the wave of the Olympics to create content. When our dear sister Toby Amusan won the cup now that she won, that brand wanted to affiliate with Toby Amusan. Hilda Basi, when Hilda Basi got the world record for the longest cooking marathon at the time, a lot of brands jumped on it. AI doesn't know Hilda Basi. AI will not give you that. But then jumping on things like this make people know that, oh, you are current, you're current, you're there and everything. And people who are like your audience, they're able to, because you are also interested in what they are interested in, it helps them to relate with you better. So that is one major strategy. You are the human, you are the one that knows what is going on in your environment. So you load up what you want to load up to AI, and then you restructure to suit what is going on in reality. your own human reality, what is happening in your environment and how it affects the bottom line of the branch that you're working with, rather.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Based on what you understand, looking at the possibility that AI have, why do you think some people are still skeptical about the use of AI, in that they are not even bold enough to step into it and use it?
I mean, I would say it's a cultural thing for some people. It's an influence thing because there are three, especially for us as Africans, there are three major sources of influence for our lives. The first one would be our family, our immediate environment, that's our where we grew up in and everything. The second is religion. And I think religion is taking over now, Seth, because people are beginning to listen more to their pastor, to their imams, than they listen to their parents or their spouses or everything. And the third one is the government. So when these three major influences in your life, when they are not open to a certain thing, that thing is not in the sphere of your own possibility, as it were. So there is this church in Nigeria, that used to, a long time ago, they said television was a tool of the devil. And you know the church I'm talking about. And sometime last year, the pastor came, and a lot of their church members at the time did not have television in their house, really. And then the pastor came last year and he literally apologized and said at the time he did not know. He knows better now. In fact, I'm even thankful and I respect him the more because he had, the conscience to come out back and apologize for that, really. So a lot of people have heard, things that their pastors have said, things that their imams, their parents, the people they look up to, the influences over their lives, the internet and all of that, conspiracy theorists have said, and they've run with it without doing proper research about that thing. So what I'll just advise is that you be as open-minded as possible. People are using AI around us. They did not die. AI is not, what's it called now, 666, or what do they call it? AI is not an end-time tool. It is something to make your work better. If I'm given a script to write by a client, and you, as someone who is not open to, using AI as a tool, is given a script to write, I will deliver better than you. And they will give me the contract, and heaven will be happy, right? Because I saw one of the creations of God's creation, and I utilized it. So we should be open-minded. That's just the basis of what I'm going to say. Technology is advancing. Human beings, we are advancing. So is technology. And humans created technology. So as long as humans evolve, technology will also evolve. And technology is here to make us better, to make us be more productive and to make our lives better. So people should be more open-minded. Off point now, I remember when growing up, I used to say that washing machine used to spoil clothes. I can't use washing machine. And you hear people say things like grinding stone. For people who are Africans, they understand this. Grinding the stew you make with pepper that you grind on the grinding stone is more delicious than what you use blender to grind. No, I mean, this is 2024. People know better now. You think me that I'll wake up at, say, 5, I have to be at work at 9, and of course, I'll be open to things like this. Guess who has a washing machine? When my mom came to visit me and then she saw the machine, she was like, I thought you said that washing machine used to spoil clothes. I just went out and down. Because you grow to a point where you realize that these things are here to make life easy. There is no point being closed-minded to technology. Technology is not a tool of the devil. Technology is not a sign of the end time. We really need to give our people some orientation, right? Technology is not a tool of the devil. It's not a sign of the end time. It's not something that has come to place them. It is something that they should utilize, something that they should use. Basically, that is it, sir.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I'm happy that you're saying that, because people don't understand it. They think that where is some It's something that is coming to punish them, to steal them, to harm them. But like I was saying before, people need to come to the realization that we're actually talking about tools. That these
Yeah.
tools, why our society is like this, because we have been able to develop tools. If you look at the animal in the forest, you see that they are not able to use tools, so they remain where they are. Of course, I've written a couple of books where I actually have taken this argument a little bit on, in that you can actually be natural the way you are, which is good. You are not harming nature if you are natural the way you are. Only that you are going to be crude as nature
Yeah.
as it is, no? Like you can remain in the forest. It is good for nature because you are part of the vegetation in that sense. But if you want
Yeah.
to fly in the air, you see, you can decide to fly in the air in the aeroplane. That is not part of the natural design, because if that is how God wanted it to be, it will put wings on you so that you will fly like the birds. You see, it is we human beings that say, let's do that thing we used to do, which is what is that? Which is moving from one place to the other, which is we literally will walk, no, like walking. Somebody say, okay, no, we can stay inside something and fly. We decide that that is not nature, no. You can say, oh, I don't like that. That is good. Move from Ibadan to Lagos walking on a barefoot. That is how our ancestors used to do it. You can do it. It's fine. Maybe it will take you like 3 months to get there. That is okay. But if you don't want that, take care. You will be there in a few minutes. The choice is yours.
I mean, when the white brothers created, when they invented the airplane, I remember I heard the story. A lot of people did not think it's possible. I think the first thing they invented was the air balloon, right? A lot of people did not see the possibility of it happening. But here we are today. There are different people are not just flying, people are going into space. They are going out of this planet into other planets. That is it. And it is not it is not witchcraft. People
If
are
witchcraft is even
only
working, we want to even explore it. Let's see how, because I think it's a question of demonstrating it in the life of evidence. If it is witch,
yeah,
let's bring the witch. Let put people into it. I want to move from Lagos to Benin. If in the fraction of a second, let's do it so that we'll be paying. You become rich. Without this witchcraft of saying that people can do things in the let's bring the magic out. No, let's come to contest.
utilize it. Now, witchcraft should not only be for killing people and for doing village people up and down. Make it make sense to the general populace. Let us utilize it well. Make Nigeria better, make the world better, not just to see your neighbor's child and kill him.
Thank you so much for that. You see, last month, I brought in 5 scientists, neuroscientists. Okay, of course, we are talking about storytelling. I brought them on a webinar to talk about how our brain reason, because it is important that we understand this. We understand how our brain function, how we can sort of, you said something important, though. We are going to collaborate with the technology. Actually, we are going to use the technology to our own good. Now, I also want to remind people what I was saying before, that because we are living in our limited space, we believe that we have got it to the limit that we can be, but it is not true. There is
Okay.
infinite potential that we can't even fathom yet, what we are capable of doing. We are just
Yes.
barely in the scratch. We are scratching the surface. In 500
Mm-hmm.
years from now, 500 years is not even a very long time. In my place, in Esan, I come from Esan, there are evidence that people have been living there for more than 3,000 years. So 500 years compared to 3,000 years is like yesterday. But if we extend that, we see that
Yes.
people have been living in Africa for hundreds of thousands of years. So when I say
Yeah.
500 years, I'm just like blinking an eye like this. So that in
Mm-hmm.
500 years from now, the computer that people are going to invent, what we are using today will look like so obsolete. The car that they are going to ride, the transportation, the medicine, the astronomy, the physics, the science, everything is going to be so fast and so refined and so beautiful and so effective that what we are doing
Yeah.
today will be like a waste of time. Are we going to reject all of
Mm-hmm.
that because of our limitation?
I mean, we should be able to open our minds to possibilities. We should be able to, we live in a world of limitless possibility. As long as your mind can conceive it, you can achieve it. If it is coming to if it's coming to your consciousness, right, that means it is achievable in a way or the other.
Love that.
It is coming to your consciousness, it is achievable. We've not just explored. Scientists say that I've forgotten the statistics now, maybe something like we've not used up to 1% of our brain capabilities and all of that. Imagine us using just 10%. See what will be achieved, let alone us using the entire 100%.
It's so true.
We've been creating.
It's so true.
We have not used up to 1%, and see what the world is at the moment. See the brilliant innovation, the creativity. What if we now use 10%? Let alone in fact 50% is okay.
And even if you were to look at it from the point of view of spirituality, for people who believe in God, I want to remind them that if you are a child of God, you are God too. I don't know if people can even fathom that. That if you are a child of lion, you are a lion too. Are you doing what God is doing? If you are not doing that, you are insulting God by being who you are not supposed to be born. Because you are God. In fact, in African spirituality, that is who we are. That is why when somebody dies, we pray through this person. They are called ancestors. Why do we pray through them? Because we believe they are gods. I think somewhere in the Bible that also was specified, because the Bible was actually copied from traditional belief system. You see, Bible is only a few years ago, whereas we have been living here for several thousands of years. Anyway, we're not going into that today again, because that can take us a lot of time. It's okay. Now, let's talk about emotion. We want to use artificial intelligence to create content. And like you said, artificial intelligence is not able to imbue the content with emotion. So how do we put emotion into it? Because without emotion, our story will not get the other person to react. Tell me more about that.
So it's pretty simple. When you have had artificial intelligence generate the basics for you, the emotion that we're trying to put inside it is simply making it relatable. What is the purpose of your content? The purpose of your content is to reach a target audience. What are the things that interest your target audience? That is how you reach them. For people who are Christians, how did Jesus reach the Samaritan woman that he was trying to, talk to? He knew what interested the woman. What interested the woman? Someone telling her about her life, right? And then, they started the conversation with, if I remember well, the fact that the woman was like, Jews do not necessarily come to Samaritan people to, they don't relate with them and all of that. That was where the conversation started from. Even Jesus knew well to tell stories. That was why he told, he passed most of his messages in parables, appealing to the emotions of people. And then the woman, what caught the woman's attention was that Jesus said, oh, you have had 5 husbands, and even the one that you're with now is not your husband and all of that. That got our attention, like, oh, bro, who's this man? So you know your audience, you know what interests them. What interests them will get their attention. And if you want to take it further, after knowing what interests them, you also know their pain points. So when you're breaking down your audience persona, it's part of what you're doing. You know their pain points. Okay, for example, your target audience for your product or for your service is, say, women. What are the pain points of women in society, especially in this part of the world? We have a lot of issues with gender imbalance when it comes to reaching some professional heights, when it comes to doing some things, attaining some levels and all of that. And then you are coming as a storyteller to tell your story from that angle. You are touching something in them that will make them take action, right? That, oh, this person just touched where it's paining me, right? Maybe a lady has been trying to work hard and she's a hard worker. She's trying to get a promotion at a place of work, say a male-dominated place of work, and then for some reason she's not getting it because some powers that be are saying that she's a woman, blah, 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 blah. And you're trying to sell a service or sell a product to that woman or people who are like her. What you want to sell is confidence. What you want to sell is doggedness. What you want to sell is not giving up. What you want to sell is breaking the glass ceiling, and all of that. And what emotions do, what appealing to people's emotions do is that it goes beyond you selling your product or service. It solves their problems for them. It talks to their pain points and gives them a solution, as it were. Someone can, I've heard this thing before. Someone was watching an ad, and then the talent delivering the lines of the ad said something, and this person got an insight from what the person said, and then just picks a pen and a paper and starts writing. That is what it means to appeal to people's emotions. So your audience, you analyzed your audience persona, you know them, you know their pain points, you know what is probably affecting them, you know what they like, what they don't like, and all of that, and you craft your stories to touch those things. So you are relating to them. It makes your product relatable. It makes your service human, as it were.
Out of curiosity, were you in our LinkedIn audio live event yesterday on storytelling?
No, I wasn't. I intended to join, but then I had a lot of deliverables, and of course, NEPA.
Sorry about that, because it's like if you were there. Okay, yesterday we talked about, of course, every 2 weeks we organize this storytelling event on LinkedIn, an audio live event where we bring in different experts to talk about storytelling and how to use storytelling in business. Of course, we actually have 2. The other one is about diaspora storytelling, how we use storytelling to be able to build our community and all of that. So yesterday we were looking at why storytelling might not be working for you. And the line that you are striking there was a very important one throughout the conversation yesterday. There were a lot of people, more than 1,000 impressions, actually going to 2,000 now, of the posts that we dropped. That you really need to know who you are talking to. You need to know your audience. If you don't know your audience, your story will not land.
Don't fly with that.
Anyway, thank you so much for that. I really want to thank you for that.
My pleasure.
All right. The mistakes. What kind of mistake do you see people making, businesses making, so that when they use maybe artificial intelligence to create their content, it doesn't land? As you maybe were yesterday now. So what kind of mistake do you see people making that maybe they should correct? Maybe, okay, you identify the problem, but also give them the solution. Please go.
So when you're talking to people, when you're creating a content for your target audience, right? So one thing that can make your content work, because even in your target audience, there are different demographics, right? Even in your target audience, there are, we talked about the uniqueness of human beings and all of that. So one of the effective ways to tell a story is to pick a particular demographic per time and address, don't tell your story in a generic manner. Tell it as if you're addressing a certain person, right? In such a way that by the time people are done reading your content or watching your content, whatever the case is, they're like, wait, do you live in my house? Are you in my house? Did I tell you my life story? I experienced that a lot. And I tell you my life story. But you see content and you see people in the comment section, I'll be like, stop shouting. I've heard you. You're talking to me and all of that. So that is how you create an effective or a lasting content. You pick a particular demographic per time and you address them. So creating content is a continuous thing, right? Your brand is here to stay. So you have all the time in the world to do that. So you can decide to, for example, say, talk to single ladies today if your product is a lady-centric product. Talk to single ladies today. Talk to ladies who are probably in their 30s, are not married, because there are single ladies and there are single ladies, right? Ladies are probably in their 30s, in their 40s, and they're not married. They're hoping to get married, things like that. So you direct your content to people per time. Make it feel personal. Don't let it be generic. So genericism, is there a word like that? Jeez. It's something that, because your message flies over their head. They just think that it's a broadcast message. So when people send broadcast messages, some people have sent messages to me on WhatsApp, for example, and I thought it was a broadcast message and I did not respond. And they eventually come to call me out. Say, I sent you a message, you did not respond. And I'm like, I thought it was a BC. They said, no, it's not BC, but you crafted it like a BC. When we now, after the back and forth, I'll discover that they probably imputed a query on ChatGPT, say happy New Year message, or maybe I don't know, Happy New Month message. And then they just carried it like that and they shared it with me. So to me, it looked like a BC because it wasn't targeted at me per se. So I did not respond because, of course, the broadcast message. And here they are accusing me that I did not respond to their message. How am I supposed to respond to a broadcast message? So when you make it personal, even if you copy the text from online or from ChatGPT, by the time you are structuring to pass the message, make it personal to that audience that you're passing it to. Then you get a response. That is just that.
Thank you so much for that. That is really highly valuable. I appreciate your time. I appreciate also the value that you share here in this conversation. Now, for people that have listened to you to this point, now they want to connect with you, they want to learn more about your services and what you do. So take this moment to share with them and let them know how to reach out to you.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Peace Adedo Adeniran. I am the founder and creative director at Luxline Media NG. Luxline Media NG caters to your media solutions across board. Talk about content creation and social media management. Talk about brand marketing, communications. Talk about PR. Talk about media relations, your voiceovers, your audio and video production, and everything in between. Yeah, that's what we do at Luxline Media. And if you want to reach me, you can reach to me. You reach out to me via LinkedIn. My name is Peace Adeniran on LinkedIn. And of course, on Instagram, I am the Ofola at the, that's THE_OFOLE at THE_OFOLE, the_Ofola. That's my username on Twitter. So basically, it's just LinkedIn. I said Twitter on Instagram. So basically, it's just LinkedIn and Instagram for me now. Every other platform, I am not exactly constant on there. And you can also reach out to me via email at luxlinemediang@outlook.com. luxlinemediang@outlook.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. In our language, we say "opure." That is the name. That is how we translate peace in this. And of course, "opure" is the name of my wife, so I can even forget that. All right, that is. Yeah. Thank you. That is a beautiful name. Thank you so much, Peace. Now, what will be your final thought here, considering what we have discussed today?
Okay, so my final thought here would be that we should collaborate effectively with AI as storytellers. You can tell your story without AI, but then you can't tell your story effectively in a fast-paced world without AI. So as a storyteller, you have to be open-minded as a brand storyteller. And by brand storytelling, I mean people who are into marketing communications, brand and PR, people who are into content creation and social media management. So I'm using the umbrella term storytellers for all of you now because everything we do is that we are telling the brand story, right? So you have to collaborate effectively with artificial intelligence while utilizing the speed and the data and the insights that AI gives you. You come in with your creativity and cultural sensitivity, and of course the brain that the Lord has given you, which AI does not have. So that collaboration forms a powerful force that your competitor will not be able to match. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peace. I appreciate it. This has really been a very lovely conversation and full of value. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.